Yo, money make the world spin fast. Shut down the feds, see what go on. It a go stall, make we check that. Watch this. Yo, money make the world spin fast. Shut down the feds, see what go on. It a go stall, make we check that. Try test me but me never show spite, so me get left alone, real no real too. Ghost in the man I just pass right through. Drop thing dead, city stay in a bin. Pounds no stack man, nah see no win. Me I pre the roads, little cash, little sin. But me soul start scream when me untouch the thing. Nah never that life. Me see the youth, them lock up, me see the strife. Temptation strong, but my mind move wise. Man hold firm, me no pay that price. Never that, man no fall for the rat trap. See the game, but me sidestep that. Find me way, and me never look back. Never that, hunger pain, me no stay upon that. Get me faith fun away through the maze. Now me brain print cash in 100 ways. Yo, born in the belly of beasts where the fiends don't sleep. Old man sip that poison deep. Bare lies while mumsy weep. Cheat, gaslight, twist up facts. Home weren't home, just broken flats. Bills stay red, fridge stay bare. Whole team peak, but nobody cared. Had to move smart, had to move cold. No handouts, just do what you're told. And stay gritty, man get caught. One wrong step and your life get bought. Some man slip, some man fall. Dodge them youths that bang then crawl. Mind stay sharp, heart stay still. Fake one smart, but the hate stay real. Clock them charts, patterns talk. Pound sign flip when the candles walk. Turn them losses, made that back. Study them graph like I studied the trap. Came from the trenches, now it's sats. Trade move clean, no feds on backs. Camel show man to think with tact. Skeptic mind, don't trust no stats. Moving up still, but I ain't forget. Scars from the last, I could keep man check. Pain in my chest, still see them bets. Made mistakes, man, learn from that. Now man eat, now man rest. No more stress about ends or debt. Cash flow clean, mind stay free. No more fear, just life in me. No, never that life. Me see the youth, them lock up, see the strife. Temptation strong, but me mind move wise. Man hold firm, me no pay that price. Never that, man no fall for the rat trap. Saw the game, but me sidestep that. Found me way, and me never look
back. I still don't know what I'm doing. All right, hello and welcome to the live stream with Camel. And surprise, because I didn't even tell anyone I was going to do it. I actually just decided on a whim this morning. So here we are, right? We are about 24 minutes away from the official data release. So, as always, if someone could let me know you can hear me, that will save me from going insane. And thank you all for being here. I'll quickly, just to make this a standalone video, run through my idea. And then we'll just kill some time as always. And we'll see that, right? What's this? I'm distracted by the comments. Okay, so just from the top, my idea is anything you do to the M2 rate of change shows up in the CPI with a lag. Therefore, I think the overall trend should be down since we're in this part of M2 manifesting in the CPI. So I think we're going to, wholly speaking, see the continuation of disinflation, as I'm sure you probably know by now. And when we look at trueflation, there have been a couple of counter trend wobbles, right? This was a counter trend wobble, and I believe this is also a counter trend wobble. So we'll find out. Hang on, have I got to zoom out so you guys can see the chart? There you go. Let me check that. See, I'm learning. Okay, so I believe this is a counter trend wobble, and I believe this is a counter trend wobble within the primary downtrend. Okay, my pen is glitching for some reason. I don't know. Still the jankest live streamer on this platform, but the point is, because we've had a couple of months of bounce here in the CPI, I pretty much am expecting to see today's print be slightly hot. And I think, as you're going to see when we get to the cycles, that is what the market is going to cling on to as a narrative to drive the price action into the cycle lows. So once this data comes out, we'll grab hold of this. We will put it in here as always. We'll discuss it. We'll take a look at the initial market reaction. But just to show you this is what I'm thinking in terms of the cycles, okay? If we take it from the most current cycle low for the S&P 500 and we measure out, today is going to be day 34. And that means that we're going to be heading towards a daily cycle low anytime between about the 17th of July and as late as the 29th of July, somewhere in that time frame. Now, I actually think it might be the 22nd, and I'm going to show you why. The 22nd of July would be day 39, so that's almost perfectly in the middle for the window. And therefore, I wonder if this hot inflation print today sets up a pullback into that cycle low, and then we can go from there. The reason I say the 22nd is because the 22nd also happens to have confluence with Bitcoin's half cycle low. So if we grab this current cycle low and we measure out, we're on day 23, but a half cycle low day 30 for Bitcoin would also be the 22nd of July. I wonder if I can do this. Yeah, down the bottom. Wait, oh no, it won't let me do it. Okay, but anyway, a day 30 half cycle low for Bitcoin would also be the 22nd. So there's confluence there. And again, I think what we might get then is something like this, an ABC into the 22nd, half cycle low, and then the resumption of the banana zone. So to me, that makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense from a cycle perspective and the TA I use. It also makes a lot of sense that some of this counter trend wobble will show up in the hot CPI print today. How hot? I don't really know. I don't really think it matters. But as long as we're not scorching hot, I don't think it's anything to be concerned about. Like I said, we have had a good couple of months of counter trend bounce, so it only seems reasonable to me that some of that will present in today's data. And then from there, like I said, the cycles are down into the half cycle low for Bitcoin, and the stock market should be heading for a daily cycle low soon. And then once that's in, right, once we've got the daily cycle lows, it should be business as usual. Some other narrative will show up around the 22nd, and the market should, in theory, use that narrative to explain away the upside price action out of those cycle lows, as it always does. So I don't really think, in terms of the Camel Crew perspective, anything is out of the ordinary here. I think the Camel Crew do amongst the best in these kind of situations because the cycles are so powerful. And that's pretty much it, right? That's pretty much it. What else is there to say? Why overcomplicate it? Why marry any kind of narratives or anything? Let's just let the cycles guide us. We know, roughly speaking, around the 22nd, we should see some swings, and then there should be some more trade setups out of that. There's always an outside chance, okay, that this data comes in a bit colder than expected today, and then maybe what we see is another day or two of upside. But ultimately, because the cycles are down into that 22nd time frame, I would think any pump here, should it occur, ultimately resolves into a daily cycle low, as is normal and to be expected. So that's pretty much all I've got to say. I'm going to put up these comments and see if anyone's got anything interesting for us. Please tell me my mic was not muted for all that. Okay, it wasn't. I've been really bad lately. I keep recording 30-odd minute videos only to find out I had the mic not plugged in or on mute or something like that. So everything seems okay. What's going on here? Can you guys hear me? Am I going insane? Loud and clear, you can. Okay, perfect, thank you. Let's see what else we got. Are you a ponytail guy, Camel? No, no. Asking the important questions, I see. Am I expecting a high print? Yes, I think we already answered that. I'm probably behind these comments. I still don't know if I should be using live chat or not. Yeah, we'll try that. Mic is fine. Thank you. ETH cycle low. Yeah, so ETH is in the window, I believe. It should be working on one literally any day now. How do I do this? Whoops. If I grab the settings and turn on this, then it should be, it's probably going to be slightly late by the look of it, but next few days, and then probably another failure into the next upcoming cycle low, which again is probably going to align with Bitcoin's, I would think, around the 22nd. No, maybe not. Maybe ETH's going to lead here. So this will probably decline into the 22nd as well. I would think that would be my highest probability outcome here. So it will be slightly later than anticipated, but then probably we can look for some swings out of that. So I don't really think anything's too out of the ordinary there. I'm not a mullet guy. No, I'm not a mullet guy either. Is the baby here yet? No, I'll let you know when the heir to the camel estate is born, but he's not here yet. Officially due on the 21st, so that's a real Bitcoin baby, but apparently almost none of them are actually here on their actual due date. Most of them are a little late, I think, the first ones. So yeah, I'll let you know. Don't worry about that. I'll let you know. You'll probably know because I'll just fail to post a video for a day or two. That's what I would think would happen. You know, you'll wake up and you'll be like, oh, where's Camel? Maybe he's going live. And then no live. And you'll be like, okay, it must be baby time. Why do you take 22nd as granted? It's not granted. It's plus or minus a 10% tolerance for the respective asset class. That would just be reasonable. And I saw some news. I think I was supposed to mention this earlier. There's some sort of crypto legislation and stablecoin act, I believe, coming out on the 22nd, which to me, the market could easily grab hold of and use as a narrative to explain higher prices. When XRP double digits, I'm glad you asked. There's a fractal I saw. Wait, let's turn this off. And, have I got it in here? Let's turn this off. Oops. I wonder if I can find this fractal. How did I do it? Oh, I think it's this one. Let me grab this and we'll see. Oh, I should probably put it on log. No, I don't know. We'll try that. Yeah, it might need to be on log. Does this not look remarkably similar to you in terms of time? Now, does it go to $40? I have no idea. I have no idea. But in terms of time, it looks pretty reasonable. And also, it's in that neighborhood, right? It's in that neighborhood. We're late enough in the 4-year cycle for Bitcoin that it could potentially go. I see a lot of people with an $8 target. That maybe seems more reasonable, but I'm not an altcoin guy, as you know, so I have no idea, truth be told. When 1 million Bitcoin, I would think not for a while, probably 2 cycles away. My read for Bitcoin, it's just a guess, right? I have no way of knowing for sure. But my read for Bitcoin is the following. We are late in this bull phase of the 4-year cycle, probably going to squeeze a bit higher, then have a 12-month bear market decline. Then, as you know, okay, the rules of cycle theory state, if you get 3 right translated, the 4th one should left translate and have an extended bear market decline. That's where the idea for left translation came for this cycle. But because we clearly didn't get that, instead we've had 4 right translated cycles. Okay, where you get 4, cycle theory tells us to expect left translation in the 5th instead of the 4th. Okay, so most commonly you get it in the 4th cycle, and where it does not present in the 4th, it tends to present in the 5th. So this is the shape I'm expecting. Roughly speaking, ignore the numbers. Okay, I'm not saying that this pop is going to be to 1.6 mil or anything like that, but I think maybe we could get to 200 to 300k, decline back to 70-ish. Okay, then pop from 70 to 6, 7, 800k, then a 3-year bear market. By the time we've done all of this, we're going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of the end of 2031, right? And then I think we can begin this whole thing all over again. So maybe we get to the millions by 2033 to 2035, somewhere in that neighborhood. That to me seems the most reasonable. But again, this is all speculation. It's all a guess, right? I have absolutely no idea. No one can really know. That's just what cycle theory suggests, and as a cycle trader, that's what I kind of tend to stick with. $450k target, maybe. ETH will rally to 3.5k. I don't know. I don't know. Riot pullback. I don't know. Haven't looked. It's not important. CPI, remember, right? Chop games, volatility. What does it matter? No price action really matters for the rest of this week. What matters is the weekly close and then what happens next week. But next week we're looking for a cycle low. So, we can kind of tell the price should be down for the rest of the week across the board. Yuki Snowcat made it. Thanks for showing up. Or Bitcoin doesn't care and right translates forever. Yeah, it's entirely possible. It's entirely possible. It might be its own thing. It might be its own beast. The fact that it's so scarce may have an impact on that. It might just right translate forever. The interesting thing about the left translated idea for cycle 5 is it very nicely aligns with monetary policy and the major Fed and debt cycles. So I still think if I had to guess, I would say there's probably a 70% probability that the next cycle left translates. That's what I would think. How does your indicator work on small time frames? Like how many bars does it count for a cycle? It will adjust the count depending on the asset and depending on the time frame as well. But it does work on all time frames. Should we have a look? Turn this on. We'll turn off this and this. And then we'll go to, let's say 15 minutes. There you go. All right, let's zoom in a bit so we can see what's going on. So it'll just find tradable lows, the same as on the daily time frame, right? It will still find the lows it believes is the highest probability trades, setups for you to structure a trade around and manage the risk as always. But obviously the lower the time frame, the less probabilistic it's going to be. Here's the 2 hour. Have a look at that. I mean, it looks pretty good on the 2 hour. But remember, like, same with all TA, right? The smaller these windows are for the time frames, like the faster the candles come out, the less statistically significant it is. But I mean, on the 2 hour time frame here, you can see it nails quite a lot of the lows, almost all of them actually. So if you structured a trade with a stop loss below the low in most of these, I think you'd be cooking with peanut oil. I know a bunch of the members and a bunch of the indicator users do apply this to everything from 5 to 15 minutes. I know a bunch of people just go down to the 4 hour. Some people use the 2 or the 1 hour. So, I mean, it depends, right? It depends how many trades you want to take. But it does work. Turn these back on. Okay. Nice. Sentiment is so silent after an all-time high. I think it's because most people are not paying attention to Bitcoin. I think it's because most people are in altcoins, so they're kind of cheering those on. And I know a handful of them are doing okay, but most people I don't think are back to break even yet. I know there's this debate out here, right? If let's use Ethereum as the example. If you quite recently bought anywhere in this kind of neighborhood, then you're probably happy, right? This thing's pumping, happy days. But unfortunately, I don't think most people did. I think, unfortunately, most people bought the top of last cycle. Right? Most people bought this. And so they've held through all of this. And now they're just kind of like, oh, I really hope this thing makes it to 10K so I can finally get some gains. But even then, they're not going to have outperformed Bitcoin. And that's been the thesis for pretty much the whole time. And even if you bought the cycle low, the 4-year cycle low for Ethereum, like back here somewhere, I still don't think we're outperforming Bitcoin, right? Yeah, only 240%. Bitcoin's done like 600 to 700%. So maybe this thing can pop off from here, right? And, you know, then happy days. But I think that's why the sentiment's so beaten down. It's like not many people can say I told you so yet. You know, if there is a big alt season and a bunch of these alts do 10 times the performance of Bitcoin, then you're going to see people become insufferable and you're going to see screenshots of profit and you're going to see all sorts of, oh, I'm the best trader ever and alt season's here, baby, blah, blah, blah. But the reality is altcoins just haven't done that yet. And so I think that's why sentiment is so quiet here. Mudslug made it to the live. Thanks, brother. Where's the indicator to download? You have to go to camelfinance.co.uk to get hold of the indicator. What's your guess for CPI today? I think it'll be hot. What time is it? Yeah, we'll find out. We'll find out in 8 minutes. What are they forecasting? I think it might be above forecast. I think for the first time in a while, they're going to print it above the forecast. But we'll find out. You bought the low of the last cycle, missed your exit. Yeah, I mean, we've all done it. We've all done it. We've all done it. Don't beat yourself up. Just learn from the mistake, right? That's the main thing. Just learn from your mistake. Every trader has made every mistake, probably more than a few times, right? More times than they care to admit. But if you can just eventually learn to stop making the same mistakes and learn from them, then it's all paying tuition to the market. Why is it easier to call and buy the bottom than it is to call and sell the top? Because the tops move, right? The tops move. That's what cycle translation is. It could be left translated, mid translated, or right translated, but the cycle lows are very consistent. And if you think about the psychology as well, with a little bit of cycle timing, does it really matter if, say you're really bullish Ethereum, you wanna buy the low? If you think this is the low and you miss it, okay, fine, right? But then you could just DCA down, right? You can just DCA again. Does it really matter? And even if you DCA'd in all through this area here, if then it does a quick flush, just a little bit lower and recovers, and eventually goes into a bull market, do you really care, right? Doesn't really matter. But when it comes to the top, the psychology is totally different. You know, you get to here and you go, oh, pull back, maybe I should just hold, and then it blasts off and does this, and you go, oh, maybe I should have sold, oh no, maybe it'll come back, and then it does come back, right? All of this happens, and then you go, yeah, I'm a genius, see, I knew I should never have sold, new highs, right? And then of course, by the time you work out, you should take some profit at some point. It's too late. So greed is a real horrible thing up here, right? There's always a reason not to sell. There's always some BS narrative to buy into. There's always people that will convince you there's no more 4-year cycles, no more bear markets. The institutions are here. This time it's different. There's a volatility flywheel created in MicroStrategy. Like, there's always something. There's always something. We've never seen an asset like this before. We've never seen an asset class like this before. You know what I mean? And really, no one, for some reason, investors would rather not sell and hold through this and then hope that one day it goes back than they would sell here and watch this happen. And I don't know, I can't really work out why. I mean, that's pure greed if you think about it. If you got in low down, you sold out for a big profit and walked away, then you did your job. You took money from the market. That's what you're here to do. But for some reason, like I said, most people, they'll lose sleep over selling here only to watch this thing double. They'll lose sleep, they'll hate themselves, they'll beat themselves up, they'll ape in at the top on leverage, they'll get FOMO, they'll hold themselves accountable for that forever, right? They won't be able to let it go. Oh, I could have been a millionaire if I just held on for another few more weeks or whatever. Some people can't live with themselves for selling too early, but can happily, okay, buy here and weather this entire 90% drawdown. I don't know why, it doesn't make sense, right? But the human mind is not wired to be good in a market. The human brain is wired to do all the things that you don't want to do as an investor and a trader. So I mean, yeah, that's really all there is to it. It's way harder to deal with the emotions here, and can it go up? Can I be richer? Am I selling out too early? Have I bought the equivalent of Amazon in the 90s? There's all these questions that don't really plague your mind down here. Eventually, when you're trying to buy a bottom, you go, well, if it dips, I'll just buy more because I think this is getting cheap now. I think that's way psychologically easier to deal with than, oh, maybe if it will keep going up and I'm going to end up selling here and missing out on a 100x move, right? Like, greed is really bad, but greed doesn't really apply at the bottoms, I find. 3 minutes until the data release. For Bitcoin, we dislike to sell because it could rally much further, locking you out. Yeah, maybe. I mean, that's true of any asset, though. You care more about losing something than earning something, even when it's the same amount. Yeah, it's weird. It's weird. But you have to, if you're gonna survive in this game, you have to learn to take all of the normal human emotions and feelings and perspectives and invert them, right? Because everything that is normal about being a human will just get you wrecked in a market. I'm not sure if you're taking questions, but if you are, where do I stand on the VIX? It's probably going to bottom today or tomorrow, if it's not already bottomed, I would think. That may be the low already in, or it may have to bottom tomorrow and then go. But it's pretty much, it's in a bottoming process, I would think. Matt, what's the one altcoin I hold in size? People know, right? People know. And I see some of the members saying it's Jasmine. It's not Jasmine. Not Jasmine. I've got a very small bag of Jasmine. But as I said when I made the members video on it a while ago, that was money I could afford to set on fire at the bottom of my garden. So it was a punt, and it is what it is. Jasmine is doing altcoin things as well, see? But people do know. People do know. The breadcrumb trail is there as well. Do I have some kind of gratitude ritual or something to get more grateful? Nope. Not really. I'm just very grateful. Very grateful for what I have. Mostly because I come from nothing, so I know how bad it can be, right? So that helps. Sorry if you've already covered this, but do you think we're seeing a breakout on the Dixie? Too early to tell, I think. Looks like it could be, but the issue I have here is we could redraw this to encompass the wicks. Oh, it's still out though if we do that. All right, let's leave that there. I mean, the early stages are there, aren't they? But this is, you know, I can't make any kind of call or decision based on a few candles. I have to see more price action before we can know for sure. For all we know, today's candle brings this back lower. So, I don't know. It's too early to tell. The early signs are potentially there though. I think it's time. 12 seconds until the data release. So type it in the comments, right? Hot or cold? Type hot or cold. Let's see. I don't really want to say what the altcoin is that I hold because I don't want to... I don't know. It just doesn't sit right with me to be shilling an altcoin because I know a lot of people will be like, oh, it's this, so I should buy that. And it doesn't really feel right to do that. Because I do think it's extremely speculative. Didn't you have a family member? My brother Nasco, my brother from another mother, Nasco, donated me some Casper. So I hold Casper as well. But he made me promise not to sell it for 7 years. So a deal's a deal. 2.7. All right, let's type this in. Slightly hot. I was actually, to be honest, I thought it would be a little hotter than that. 0.3 is in line. That's not bad. The 2.9 is in line and 0.2 slightly cold, right? That's pretty good. Just quickly check this again. 2.7, 0.3, 2.7, 0.3, 2.9, 0.2, 2.9, 0.2. Post. Put it out there into the universe. All right. So, yeah, I don't know. What do you think? Not that bad, actually. Not that bad. Should we take a look at the initial market reaction, and then I'll do a few more comments and questions. And then I need to go and eat. Sorry, Chuck. If you're here. Okay, initial market reaction. We'll use the US 500 for that. Pushing up, right? Okay, cool. I can deal with that. Maybe that means we're going to force a low in the VIX. Okay, not bad. If you're a level 3 member, we'll set up a trade in the next couple of days for that. Bitcoin, what's it doing? Anything or nothing? Nothing really, if we're honest. Gold still hanging around. Silver not doing much either. Dixie, not much of anything if we're honest. Yields, again, not much of anything. It's made the first repair, but hopefully a lower high below this one. So not really anything massive at the moment. MicroStrategy's got a slightly smaller gap. What about Riot? I know someone was asking about Riot earlier. Yeah, I mean, I did say in the level 3 member section, expect this pretty much, right? I said, don't discount that and don't be disheartened by that because cycle lows are cycle lows. And also this is a big overhead resistance level. Yeah. So to just hot knife, that's probably a little unrealistic. I said also not to discount it because we could have easily done this, but it looks to me like it wants to do normal TA stuff, okay, which is not be able to hot knife this and instead have to kind of chop here, cycle low, and then break out early in the cycle. That makes a lot of sense. So yeah, I mean, I think pretty much all of those crypto stocks are going to end up looking like that. I know Coinbase is dangerously close. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 sell the whole lot. Hopefully for a 10x. I think we're closing in on a 10x from the long-term account position. So hopefully we get 10x there. Yeah, I mean, just keep in mind, as nice as this print is, it's probably not as hot as most people are thinking. Core CPI going in the right direction for sure. In line with forecasts for 2 out of 4 of these prints. So this is not too bad in terms of data, but just keep in mind what I said right at the start, okay? We could easily see a big green candle to start with, but on a balance of probabilities, we know that we are late in this cycle, yeah? So just keep that contextual awareness. Today is day 34. Day 35 would be considered extremely right translated, and therefore, we are probably going to end up closing the week red. Yeah, not the first time we've said this around CPI. When the cycles align this way, that tends to be what happens. So just don't get chopped up, right? Don't FOMO in here when we know a daily cycle low is a week or so away. And the same for Bitcoin. Bitcoin will make a new high first, but ultimately, or it may even look like it's going to make a new high and then undercut, but ultimately it does have its half cycle low due at the same time as the stock market. So keep that in mind as well. And as ever, we'll just keep taking it one day at a time, because as much as I hate saying that, I'm actually sick of my own voice. I just say the same things over and over and over again. But yeah, it's really important to do that, right? We don't want to be a slave to the tape. We don't need to check these charts 15 times a day and look at the intraday price action. It's the closes that matter. So we'll just keep doing that. But keep that contextual awareness, because that is important and that will stop you getting chopped up. Retinishi, I think that's probably not how you pronounce that, but welcome to Level 3 members. Go back and watch a few of the members' videos, and please make sure you watch the risk management tutorial from the playlist, and everything else is in the post tab for the Level 3 members. So yeah, when Moon, I think we're already well on the way to Moon. I really do. And whilst I still think the breadth in the altcoin market is going to remain thin, okay, I know for some reason people get really mad at me for saying that. It's just an idea, and it could easily be a bad idea that we have to invalidate. It wouldn't be the first time. But I think we're in Moon season, right? This weekly chart, let's take every bit of TA off of it. Get rid of this. Okay. I mean, this is a thing of beauty. This is Moon season. And then when we apply the 4-year cycle context, we know this is the firework zone, right? The previous firework zones, this happened, and this happened, right? And all the way back here, this happened. So this is where we are. We've reached this part of the cycle, which means we are on the Moon mission right now. Yeah? And, you know, forgive me for not jumping up and down and getting all giddy about this. It's just because I'm, frankly, a little concerned, right? This is the business end of the cycle. This is where things can go the most wrong. This is where most people end up getting wrecked. And you would be really surprised at how many people do extremely well for all of this, only to throw it all away in the last innings. So I'm just very conscious that I have the absolute potential to wreck myself here if I don't do this right. So whilst this is fun, what I want to do is focus on nailing down the top. And then when we enter a bear market, then we can do all kinds of weird esoteric podcasts, right? We'll do live streams about aliens. We're going to play some bingo with some of my stupid overused phrases, right? We'll do some daytime drinking perhaps. You know, we'll waste the bear market and we'll enjoy it. And then once we're close enough to the 4-year cycle lows to start to reallocate that capital, we'll do that. Of course, we'll play some shorts on the way down or some fades on the way, the counter trend bounces. But generally speaking, you know, this is the time to lock in, right? This is the lock-in zone. Call it the banana zone if you want, call it the moon zone, call it whatever you want to call it. But really, this is laser focus is required. This is lock in, and don't throw away what's nearly 3 years of work, right? We've worked extremely hard, at least I have. I know a lot of you have as well. We worked extremely hard to get underneath some very big squeezes here. And if we just go on holiday and start celebrating and ordering champagne before even realizing the gains, then you're gonna get yourself wrecked, right? So let's really lock in. Let's make sure we do the basics right. Okay, keep taking it one day at a time. All that stuff I say over and over and over again. And hopefully, once we've actually nailed the top or as close to the top as physically possible, then once it's confirmed and we're clearly in a bear market and the thing's clearly not going to recover, then we can start to actually have some fun and enjoy ourselves and maybe go on holiday I might do some live streams from some unusual places. I don't really know yet, but yeah, we'll the time will come. Yeah, the time will come, and right now it's not that time. What was that? I saw something about a newborn. Where was that? Just admit you're going to release baby camel coin and your newborn will rug pull when it's 13. Yeah, maybe. What else we got? I don't know. Is there anything else to say? You mentioned a YouTube video to help with headspace mentality a while back. Do you recall where it was? No, sorry, I posted 1,200 odd videos. So no, I have no idea. Oh dear. The Stranger's Secret by Earl Nightingale and It Works by RHJ. Yep, both extremely good. Hopefully that's what you mean. Where will you park lock in capital? Huh? Oh, park locked in capital. Cash. Yeah, cash. Lots of different places. I'll make a bunch of members content. I'll make a bunch of non-members content for that stuff as well. But let's not worry about that. Okay, first things first, we've got to sell the top. Okay. And tops are not always easy to identify. In fact, most of the time they're pretty tough to identify. So yeah, let's focus on that. Give us a sneak peek on the alien stuff. Nah. Come on, guys, lock in. Okay, lock in. Focus. This is not a joke. We are close. We are closer than ever to a major top in this Bitcoin 4-year cycle. We are so close, in fact. A lot of people are starting to entertain the idea there is no more 4-year cycle, right? A lot of people are starting to entertain the idea there will not be another bear market. We will not have a pullback more than 30% ever again. This is the danger zone, not just the banana zone. This is the danger zone, okay? So don't worry about asking what kind of car I got or any of this other stuff, okay? Worry about that in the bear market. There'll be plenty of time to do all this stuff in the bear market. But for now, I want you to lock in, okay? Really, really, really lock in. Pi cycle top, up only. Yeah, okay. Okay. I'm gonna take 5 minutes more questions and then we're gonna go. How do I decide when to move stop loss up? I generally don't like to move my stop losses, but once you've got a fully established daily cycle low, then you can use that as the invalidation. But generally speaking, I prefer to manually close my trades before they get anywhere back close to the stop loss level. I don't really like to move them up a lot. And actually, I think I was talking about this with, it was either the Slice Crew or the level 3 members. Hut is a very good example of this, okay? So you can see I took this position in Hut all the way back here in February, okay? So I take the trade, it moves up, stop loss is here, okay? Now I could have just as easily moved the stop up once we were, what this initial pump was, what, 47% in a few days, okay? So we could have easily moved the stop up, but what would have happened? We would have got wrecked, okay? Or what about here? We would have got wrecked. Well, here, oh, it's a lower high. Oh, it's still another lower high. What about here, okay? All the time we're choking the stop up, we're getting taken out of the trade unnecessarily, okay? Same deal here, okay? We get this big move up. Yeah, we took half, paid ourselves, whatever, so we could sit back and relieve the pressure. But a lot of people would be totally unwilling, and this is what I was saying to the Slice Crew or the members, whoever it was. A lot of people would be unwilling to give back 70% to open profit, right? But the only way you can stay in a trade for this, if it's potentially going to come, and you never know which trade's going to do it, okay? But if something like this is coming, okay, then the only way I can sit in this is not to be choking my stop up the whole time. I have to take the trade and leave it. Let it do what it's going to do. And is this going to happen? I have absolutely no idea. But if it does, then I've got a good track record of staying on trend for that. And the reason for that is I don't try and get cute. When I take my position, the invalidation is the invalidation for a reason. So why do I need to start setting more and more invalidation levels? And again, I was saying this to the Slice Crew or the members, whoever it was. It's very easy with hindsight and not a lot of experience to look back and say, well, why didn't you sell here and buy back here and sell here and buy back here? Well, in real time, it doesn't work like that, right? Anyone that's been trading any length of time at all knows that that's not how the real world works. So what you can do is take a position, let the stop do the worrying, as I say also every day, Okay, keep that risk managed, also, as I say every day, and then sit back and let the market do what it's going to do. And you only need one of these trades a year, and you can't really lose, right? Like for me, that was MicroStrategy, as everyone knows. I've got a 17x nailed down here. It would have been a 35x, but I had to take half off here to protect against potential left translated cycle. But we nailed down a 17x on this, whilst also having short-term accounts that were multiple hundreds of percents. And that means this one trade alone will pay for my entire year's worth of mistakes and stop losses, right? I can afford to be quite sloppy because of the gains on this one trade. Now, that's not to say I am sloppy. It's not to say I suggest anyone be sloppy, but it means that if you're a newer guy, then having one of these a year will basically guarantee that you make money, right? Even if you are still in that learning process and your risk is not super tightly managed on every single trade. And if you do all the things correctly, like manage the risk, okay, and don't oversize, don't over leverage, only trade your system, and you also can hit a big 17x trade like this once per cycle, then that's how you get the super performance. That's how the whole idea of tracking the S&P 500 or renting out real estate becomes a joke to you, right? Because nobody can compete with this if your system and risk management is all tight. In addition to that, the Coinbase, as I said earlier, that's nearing a 10x, okay? And who knows which one of these crypto stocks is potentially going to do what that hot fractal looked like. Maybe none of them, okay? But again, if I can nail down Coinbase for a 10x and this can do a 10x, all right, then no one could compete with that. Even if I take, a whole bunch of other trades and they all get stopped out. This is how you milk super performance out of your account. So please do consider what I'm saying here, right? Don't be so zoomed in. That's what I'm trying to say. Don't be zoomed in like this and going, oh, I made 40% in a day. No, you didn't. It's not real. Did you close the trade? No. It's fallacy then, okay? Open profit is non-existent. It's not real. It's not on the elementary scale, okay? So don't be going, oh, look how much money I made. You didn't make nothing, okay? Don't be going, oh, I should definitely move the stop up. Why? You're just going to get taken out unfairly. Yeah, let the stop do the worrying, manage the risk, push the flipping trade until it becomes unreasonable to do so. And with a bit of luck, one or two of them per cycle will morph into this, and nobody will be able to hold a candle to your performance. Yeah, but the only way you can get to that stage is you have to let these trades do what they're going to do. And you never know which ones are going to do it. It's usually the least likely ones that end up being the ones that really, really, really change your overall CAGR over the years. I'm just ranting at you guys today. What's up, Camel? How am I? I'm okay, bro. I'm okay. Feeling ranty, apparently. But yeah, you can't unsee cycles. Yeah, that's because they're hard-coded into the universe. Dump or pump for Bitcoin. Go back and watch the video, and you'll have the answer. And yeah, that's pretty much that. Right, I need to go and eat, because otherwise I'm going to get in trouble for not eating. And ruining my gains. Other than that, please do consider what I've said. If you showed up late, please do go back and watch this on the replay crew. Thank you again, all of you, for joining me here. And as I said earlier, right, keep an awareness of the cycles. We know what they're going to do. And therefore, we know on a balanced probabilities what the most likely path is over the next week or two. And we also know that around the 22nd, it should be time for us to start to add some positions and that kind of thing. So until then, when baby, 21st, love you all. Thank you for being here. Have a great rest of the week, and I'll be back tomorrow with normal content. Until then.